Hi, and welcome to the Yarn Habit Geek podcast. My name is Laura. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Ravelry as Yarn Habit Geek. There's also a Ravelry group if you wish to join. And guess what? It's finally updated with all my previous show notes. And this episode's show notes will be up there as well. So anybody that's wanted to find all the patterns I've been using, and they are basically linked in the show notes on the Ravelry group. So let's get started with this week's episode, which is mainly whips, because it's kind of hard to have a finished object when I'm working on some pretty big projects. So let's get started with this week's episode, shall we? Alright, whips of the week. I've got a bunch. You've probably seen them before, but you get to see the progress. It's a slow progress. But first up is they have to get done by next week. So I'm probably going to be focusing more on this during the week and on another object I got finished before Infinity Wars comes out. Obviously, the first one up is the Loki scarf from the first Avengers. It's the knitted version of the one he wears, but I know the one Loki wears in Avengers is made of silk. I was asked to do a knitted version. But yeah, once I have it all knitted up, I'm going to be blocking it, and then I'm going to crochet the ends closed, so that way it stays in a nice certain flat position, and then I have an easy way to add the tassels, so yay for that. So basically for all of the week coming up for next week's episode, I'm gonna be focusing on this and this alone. And as well as the few tiny odd projects I gotta finish before certain dates that come up. But let's get on to the next whip, which is the Ron Weasley blanket. Guess what? I'll finish the square. And it is, and I have it in my Harlequin Bat Symbol little project bag that I made. And honestly, I am so happy I made this project bag just to house this big blanket. But yay! This square is done. You could say it's a finished object, but it is a part of a big project. But yay! The one square is done. Like, I will probably cast on the next square for the blanket. Like, this one has been a big ongoing project, as well as the temperature blanket, which is up there. But I'll be showing the temperature blanket next week, because next week is the last Wednesday of the month. But I'll be talking about next week's episode after the whips are done. And next up, I didn't get much work in it. I got like maybe a row done, because let's face it, it's a lot of stitches, but it's not much. It's still the beginning, but it's the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Cloudtop. Yeah, right now I'm in the middle of knitting it, so of this next row, so I can't show much of that. Hopefully in the near future, I will have done more work on it, as well as get back to work on this scarf right here, which is another Final Fantasy knit. And next up is another Infinity Gauntlet. Basically, this one right here is actually, I'm delivering later today. This one is for me to wear to the Infinity War, and then I got one more I gotta make, but I gotta pick up the yarn for that one. But I might be having to use a different yarn than the one I've been using, because I kind of Well, basically, I bought every single one of these yellow ones from the actual store I bought them at. And enough about that. Let's get on with the next whip. And I'm actually looking at my show notes, which is over there. Next up, I got a few rows done. It's not much. I just got a few rows done in my Molly Weasley house coat, which is going to be a part of a Molly Weasley cosplay. Because let's face it, I have so much in common with Molly Weasley, yet I'm a Hufflepuff. And honestly, I love being a Hufflepuff. And it was weirdly the house I was sorted in when the Harry Potter exhibit was actually here in Toronto, like, I forget how many years ago. But I love that exhibit so much, I went twice. Alright, next up is, well, I only worked like a couple, almost an entire round on the Red Hood sweater. So it's not much, just almost, actually I think I did maybe half a round, because I worked on this last night, but now I gotta focus on that Loki scarf for next week. And now I'm just fixing up the yarn. Is it? And we got one last whip, which is something I actually need to finish before next month when I go to Ottawa for the Ottawa Comic-Con. And this is actually going to be a gift for Doug Jones. Now, if you paid attention, like if you've been watching my show in the past, especially back in October, you would have known I was working on a Hocus Pocus set, and I kind of stopped because it was like I could not finish it for Hocus Pocus in time for Halloween, but I did finish Mary Sanderson. But I have gotten back to work on one from that Hocus Pocus set, which is Billy Butcherson. Like, right now I gotta finish stuffing the feet and then sewing the soles on. But right now it's not much, but I am working on the coat. So Billy is technically almost done. I just have to do this coat and work on the wig cap and then do the hair. And that'll be it. And also I gotta sew on some special ribbon I bought for the frills of those of the cuffs and the cravat? Yeah, it's the cravat. And actually, that is it for whips of the week. Now, I'm not going to pause this segment I'm not going to pause and start another segment. I'm just going to keep on going. Because next week, it's not only the Knitters Frolic, but it's also the 1-year anniversary of the podcast. And I am actually planning something, and I will be announcing it next week for the 1-year anniversary episode. So, it's a special something. It might be a project. It might be a giveaway. It might be both. Who knows? But I'm planning something special for the 1-year anniversary. Yeah, and that is basically it. I will see you all next week for the 1-year anniversary episode. So, till then, stay crafty, my friends.